Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Roof versus Happy here on Tall Dream Altar. Happy spawning as the yellow Terran player on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Roof on the bottom left hand side of the map as the purple Zerg. Zerg versus Terran, Tall Dream Altar. We've all seen these games happen in the past, and we'll see what will go down in this matchup. Now, first thing I want to say is I did adjust my volumes and I did adjust the graphical settings. Yesterday I was casting Wednesday night StarCraft, and because of that and the fact that we had lost a cameraman, I needed to stream in addition to record, in addition to running Skype, and apparently my i7 just isn't good enough to handle StarCraft 2 in all of its glory, even though I have a GTX 570. So I don't know if any Intel people out there or anyone wants to sponsor me with new machinery. That would be greatly appreciated. But then again, chances are fairly low. Anyways, let's get into the game. Roof as the purple Zerg player here. This is going to be cross spawns on Tall Dream. And we'll see what Happy tries to go for. Happy opening up with a 12 or an 11 racks, surprisingly, as opposed to the more economic 12 barracks. Now, this could be for a faster orbital command. I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll see if there's any deviations. He is going for still the 12 refinery now. And then, so he built his racks on 11. He built his refinery on 12. And each time he cut or slowed down his SCV production. I think with that, he may end up being able to build up to 15 SCVs still, but he will get his orbital command slightly faster, and we'll see if it really helps him all that much here. No, it looks like he's going to build his orbital command at 14, and yes, he is going to build his orbital command at 14. And we'll see if there was any true loss in terms of his economy there. SCV quickly making his rounds. Didn't see a hatchery over here. Now going to check over here. Not going to spot a hatchery either. And then check for full cross spawns. And I don't think that's what he wants at all. A Marine now making its way out in order to do a bit of patrolling as well. Going to sit on the ramp. Going to try to take a look. Perhaps hunt down some overlords. Hasn't found any as of yet, as there is a drone just on patrol attack here, interestingly enough. I'm not quite sure why Roof would do this with a drone as opposed to just a straight up patrol. Perhaps looking to make sure that there is no bunker set up, as the hatchery now will just be completed. Will a hatchery or a bunker be placed down? And it looks like Happy is going to be placing down that bunker now. SCV is going to try to change up locations a couple of times. Now just wandering back and forth, and now in comes the drone. The drones are now going to make their way out, and the Marine has to be very careful here. Is it going to be able to focus it down? No. 5 hit points. Now able to back off once again. Zerglings are making their way out. SCV going to back off, and with those Zerglings now attacking that bunker will just be cancelled. 25 minerals lost. Not too shabby for the Terran player, able to recover those resources after pulling off some drones from the mineral line. Zerglings now looking to cross the field and deal a bit of damage. You can see the barracks has changed into a reactor Hellion opening. We are transitioning into roaches now, and this is always going to be one of those instances where how many Hellions should a Terran player make? Now, 2 Hellions isn't a lot, but you really don't want to allow a Zerg player to freely train up a lot of drones. They can really train up more drones than you can train up workers on 2 bases, even if you have a second orbital command as a Terran player. So you need to train up units and deal some harassment damage. But the problem is that these Hellions quickly find themselves nearly useless after roaches arrive. So the Hellions are there now with their fast movement speed to just try to take down creep tumors, but a nice cancellation by Roof. So he canceled. Oh, once again going to cancel once more as the Hellions are backing off, and you can see that the creep tumor was built and then canceled and then rebuilt as a creep tumor. If you cancel that creep tumor, it will just end up back over here and just going to try to continue to spread again. Hellions are off over here, perhaps going to get out some easy torch on some Zerglings. The Zerglings now going to take some damage here. Roaches need to make their way over. It looks like the Roaches are going to be able to chase down. No, unable to shoot at that low hit point Hellion, as we are going into a command center here by Happy. Happy currently behind in food by 17. He is also behind in harvesters as well as the Hellions. Oh, battling up against roaches. The roaches didn't focus fire onto the lower hit point Hellion. As we now see, the roaches are off over here. The roaches with a range of 4, Hellions with a range of 5. Roaches can spit farther than a Hellion can shoot a fireball almost, or a spit as far. As we now see the Hellions and Zerglings once again battling it out here. We are now going into triple... Excuse me, now going into triple extractors. So a nice cancel or destruction of the creep tumor there, as Happy able to slow down the creep spread, as Terran players never want to fight on creep. The problem is that Roof does have up 3 queens, and now she's just going to be laying these creep tumors all along this ledge over here on the top, and that will help out as the Hellions got to be very careful if they try to deal damage to those roaches. Roaches look like they're going to clear out these rocks, and a new hatchery should be built. Orbital command now being established. Siege tech now ready. Stim pack now being trained up as well, as we see what exactly Happy wants to transition into. Creep tumors once more being cancelled. 2 creep tumors up on the high ground will spread creep onto the low ground here fairly effectively, as the Hellions are simply just going to dance around back and forth. Only 2 siege tank wants to get up to, I believe, around 3 or 4 before he does try to push out. He really needs to control the creep here, but unfortunately for him, a nice cancellation by Roof once more. The Hellions are pretty much just patrolling this location and going back and forth, as we now see an Overlord may not be able to make it on top of the high ground there. Down to 4 hit points. It does get shot down, as the destructible rocks here will fall. And a new command center, orbital command, will be able to take its place, as we are now already going into medevacs. Roaches battling up, taking down the Hellion. 1 creep tumor was destroyed as well, but the loss is currently higher for Happy. Not quite sure what that was about. Happy throwing caution to the wind, losing an additional Hellion there, as Roof establishes his 3rd base. Meanwhile, Happy about to, or should be able to, establish his 3rd base as well if he decides to take it. Siege tanks in a very defensive posture. Any Zergling that tries to make its way in, that will happen to it. But we are now power droning again, and Zerg players have really hit a stride as of late. Zerg becoming very, very strong. You can see the timing on those drones, so much power, being able to just get up to 59 workers at the 10-minute mark. That 3rd hatchery just being completed. Now getting some injects as well, as the orbital command will be landing. Now, taking a look back over here, factories are being built, and another factory being built, curiously enough, and we'll see what that factory does. Now, this is the time when Zerg players can choose their tier 2 option. Spire, Hydralisk, a drop now coming in on the backside here. Only a couple Marines, but enough to deal a fair amount of damage, as Marines now splitting and coming back. Roaches now coming in. No Marauders in this group, and 3 Marines were taken out, but the Harvester kills. 4 workers killed, but still more and more workers still being trained, and now up to 72. And Zerg just being very strong now, being able to constantly hit injects, transfer some drones around, and now Roof getting up into that magical 70-ish range on drones, wants to get up to 80, as we are now going into a quick tier 3 after an infestation pit, and that is it. So infestors are going to be used as a defense, and that is all, as it is going to be 3 base to 3 base. Marines once again dropping down, roaches making their way over, and being able to force all of the Marines to be picked back up once more. This Overlord gonna have a very, very bad day. The Marines are not upgraded, but it should be enough to take down that Overlord. Gonna try to come back once more, but it is gonna end up dropping on top of more Zerglings and Roaches, and the medevac pilot decides against it. Very smart, as a hatchery over here should be established sometime soon. It is 3 base to 3 base. I know that Roof is pretty much aware of this. Harvester count 76 to 58. Happy now catching up finally, but currently supply blocked. Creep tumors now being cleaned up across the board. It looks like many of them will be destroyed. And oh, another creep tumor up here could have been destroyed in just a moment, but unable to make its way over. Perhaps a Raven would be beneficial. One for point defense drones. Even Seeker missiles, very effective against a lot of units. And Happy, somehow knowing that there is no Spire, doesn't have any missile turrets. Level 1 weapons upgrade for Thors and Siege Tanks. We'll see if any Thors will ever come out, but it looks like it will straight up be Ultralisk now, coming in from Roof. Marines making a push out. The Siege Tank's not going to be able, or not going to be very effective here. We'll see what's going to happen as the Marines once again clean up more creep tumors. Infestors trying to make their way out, unable to do so, unable to destroy anything, as we now see a line of creep tumors still pushing out across the map. A Marine able to drop in on the 4th base, but it looks as though all the Marines are forced to be picked back up, and now more Marines going to regroup once again, and Happy just trying to control the map with sheer medevacs. Taking a look at the map site so far, it looks like Roof doesn't have nearly as much map control, but he is going to be running off on a 4th base soon. The Infestor is off over here. We'll see if a fungal growth does come down onto these Marines. A Siege Tank could be added to start shelling from this location, and Roof would not be able to mine from it at all. We'll see what exactly he's going to do as the medevac now going to perhaps drop. There are Overlords in position here. Roof knows that he can keep them there with really no worry. Adrenal Glands, level 3 weapons upgrade, grade Chitonus plating as well. We are going into the Mobius reactor. Ghosts need to be trained if you want to be able to start sniping down Ultralisk. Ultralisk have a lot of hit points though, but what really makes Ultralisk strong is their high armor value, which a sniper round does ignore. Missile turrets now being added, but the Ultralisk are going to be able to chomp through so much, and we'll see what's going to be happening now. We are going into level 2 weapons upgrade Ultralisk versus a Thor. Who wins out on that battle? Only time will tell, as we now see 43 damage coming in on those Ultralisks, and eventually we'll get even higher as we are going to have 3-3 Ultralisks, 3-3 Zerglings, and 0-3 Infestors with the fungal, or with the pathogen glands. One poor Zergling getting destroyed over here, as we now see an orbital, or a command center going to be trying to land. Is it going to land? Yes, it is going to land in time. And what is happening over here? The Zerglings are going to try to funnel around from the backside, now able to make their way in. Siege Tanks blasting through as well. Ultralisks all getting choked up here. And wow, a very nice choke point as more and more Zerglings getting destroyed. The Ghost, no sniper rounds, no kills there. A new bunker going to be reestablished as the supply depots here, pretty much preventing any units from walking in on that front door. We can see 174 versus 200 as the Marines are now going to be able to walk in here, take down this hatchery. This hatchery was taken out earlier by the same group of Marines and now picked back up. So during that attack, Happy was actually able to counter and destroy a lot more units. Took out a hatchery, more importantly than taking down taking down a hatchery. Didn't get that many worker kills, but he's evened up on bases now, as Happy is sitting on only 700 resources compared to Roof's 6,000. Now at any time, Roof could easily set up a Spire, start a Greater Spire, and do a complete tech switch, as the Ultralisks are now making their way over. Ultralisks very, very high on hit points. You can see a new hatchery being built off over here. The Marines with their little pop guns against these Ultralisks. Not much damage will be dealt, especially as these Ultralisks will eventually have 6 armor, meaning that these Marines will be dealing 3 damage a pop against a 500 hit point Ultralisk. Zerglings are off over here. Marines going up against the Zerglings, quickly taking it down. Siege Tanks also finishing it up here. We'll see what's going to happen, as Happy, with a much slower or a much smaller bank, will have to trade very, very well. Personal cloaking now being researched for the Ghosts. So those Ghosts are going to be important in being able to get down snipes and also getting EMP shockwaves off onto those Infestors. That is a lot of Ultralisks, 11 Ultralisks now in the field. A planetary fortress needs to be upgraded, perhaps adding a couple supply depots here or another command center here to prevent a decent surround. Happy cannot afford to lose this base, but this base was once again destroyed and cancelled. So keeping track of the minimap, my apologies. EMP shockwaves going down. All of the Infestors pretty much out of energy, and now Ghost just going to town on the Ultralisks. Massive snipes coming in. Ultralisk, and there's the GG. Wow. Okay, that I need to rewind. Oh, not from the beginning. No. I don't need to do that. Here, let me pull that off to the side for you. Let's go ahead and take a look at it at the 18-minute mark or sometime around here. Okay, so at the 18-minute mark, this hatchery has been destroyed. It's going to be reestablished. What happened? Those EMP shockwaves and Happy just catching himself. It looked like Happy was behind for much of the battle, and now in comes the Medivacs. The Medivac's going to make sure and perhaps clean up some of these larvae. Ultralists are going to make their way over. Another quick pickup in order to pull back. And a new hatchery going to be built off over here. Now, taking a look at the army compositions, they are even 72 versus 72. Marines pulling off to the side. Those Ultralists are upgraded or will be fully upgraded in just a few more seconds, as we now see Zerglings holding on to the center. And now a couple of Zerglings off over here, they're going to get destroyed by Marines, as the Zerglings were not fully upgraded while the Marines were not either, but with Stim, the Marines able to destroy before full damage was dealt. Now the Ghost here still don't have personal cloaking, so we'll see what's going to happen in this engagement. You can see that the Medivac is now going to be making a move, perhaps forcing a cancellation on this hatchery. And yes, Marines are going to be dropping down over here. A couple of drones are going to be led straight into this group. One drone does fall. Cancellation on that hatchery before it's even built. And now in comes the main fight here. Zergling's going to engage. Ghost now coming in. A couple infested Terrans are keeping sight, keeping track. And the fact that there is double Zelnaga towers is what's giving him all of this information. There's a fungal growth, but EMP Shockwave hitting off multiple infestors after the fungal growth. And now a massive snipe coming in. All the Ultralisks going up against that many siege tanks. And it was simply a meat grinder there, as I think Roof chose a really bad time to engage. Now, Roof still has a lot more resources in the bank. I believe Roof still has... Yeah, Roof has a crazy amount of larvae. He didn't really need to GG. I don't know why he gave up so early, but he did know that he was behind on bases. And perhaps he just thought that he let Terran get up to 5 bases, and he's not going to be able to get back into this. And that's why he left the game. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed Game 1.